Hello and welcome to JCTV Africa. Today is the election day, and today I'm joined by Mr. Anadi Sululu, the former MP of Silobela during the time of the Government of National Unity under the MDC banner, and he's joining us today live on this wonderful, wonderful election day. So we just want to find from him as a former legislator and as a former opposition MP in Zimbabwe, what does he think about this election of today, 2023 August? Mr. Sululu, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jethro.
All right. What is your overview on this election, the campaigning from the opposition and also from the ruling party? What is your take on this election?
Thank you. I'll also say good morning to all viewers. Today is a very important day in our calendar as Zimbabweans. 23 August has been pinpointed as our election day. All of us are preparing to go to vote. And I know some have slept there at the polling station. It's a very, very important day where we're going to make a decisive decision of who is going to represent us in our councils, in parliament, and is the president of Zimbabwe. For me, it's unfortunate that the road to these elections today was rough in the terms that it wasn't level to the way that I would have loved. ZEC didn't do much to make the playing field level for all participants, for all political parties to campaign. The media, the police, and the current government didn't facilitate a conducive environment for all the participants to campaign freely. And we know that there is no voters' roll for most of the participants, for most political parties. And I know in my tenure, during 2013, when I was asking for the voters' roll for my constituents in Silobela there, I was given 2 or 3 voters' roll. I hope this situation didn't happen. Going forward, today we want to see a difference in our country. We want to go and vote freely, and we pray that this election is going to be free and peaceful. We know it's not going to be free and fair, but at least let it be peaceful. That's my wish.
All right. Looking at the incumbent, how do you think he performed on the campaign trail? Do you think that he has made enough ground for him to secure a win, or even the opposition? Did you think that even as you are saying the playing field was not okay, do you think that they did enough in terms of campaigning?
I would say for the incumbent President E.D. Mnangagwa, I think he had all access to go everywhere he wanted to go. We have seen a lot of videos showing the passing of our voters, followers, supporters in most parts of the country. And it was very interesting to see Triple C President Nelson Chamisa's rallies as well, where people would go there freely. And I know from my experience that the incumbent ZANU-PF, when they do their rallies, they force many people to go and attend them. They normally close businesses, even shopping centers. They even take school children to their rallies. So I would say he has done enough for himself, to retain his presidency. But I think the Triple C President Chamisa did much more better than him, because he covered most rural areas in a very short period of time. And I know he was having rallies, maybe 2 or 3 rallies a day, which was very interesting. And I think he has covered enough ground than the previous elections. They've tried to reach, both of them, all corners of the country. And most people, especially the voters, have caught a glimpse of them, which is very good. But it's the environment that is a bit challenging, where everybody is not free to attend the rallies, And I would advocate that in future would like to have a situation whereby people are called to one place, like a constituency, let's say for Slovenia, and then call in all these presidential aspirants, call in the MPs. At the same time, they must be at the same place so that there's unity. People won't fight against one another, because I believe that violence in Zimbabwe is perpetuated because of the different meetings that we gather. In South Africa, it's quite different. Parties can have a rally or a meeting at a hall, and all political parties are invited to that meeting, and people will always say their different views and opinions, and it's well accepted, and there's no violence, unlike in our beautiful country Zimbabwe. We don't want to have violence during elections. We don't want to have violence prior to elections, and we don't want to have violence after the elections, which is something that I'm calling all Zimbabweans and say, let us just go and vote whoever we vote for. Let it be, and let's not attack one another after the results are coming.
All right. They have said that the announcing of the results is going to start with the presidential, and there are some changes that is different from what happened in 2008. Now, the question is, let's look at possible outcomes. What happens, what do you think is going to happen if Nelson Chamisa wins this election? Do you think that he is going to become the next president and he was going to be inaugurated if he wins this election with a big margin? What do you make? What do you think is going to happen?
From what we have been seeing on the ground, definitely Nelson Chamisa is the winner if this election is going to be free and fair. And he should be inaugurated. He should be the next president of Zimbabwe. There's no reason why we should all call for elections and say let's elect a leader, and then when one wins, they're not going to be inaugurated as president, like in this case for Nelson Chamisa. So Zimbabweans are waiting, and today I think something new is gonna come in from the voters. It's unfortunate that ZEC has said that they'll start by announcing the presidential results first. I don't know why they suggested that, but I would say that these results, they are going to be posted at every polling station. The presidential results, the MPs and the councillors' results. After voting, I know counting will take up until late night or the next morning, but all the results must be posted outside the polling station as per our constitutions. There shouldn't be any reasons why the presidential elections have to be first taken to the National Command Center and then announced from there. It's a surprise, though, that they say that they're going to announce the presidential results first. So it's something that we're going to see as new. Let's hope it happens like that, and they'll declare Nelson Chamisa as the winner of these elections.
All right. You have worked with Nelson Chamisa, and you have actually advocated for people to vote for Nelson Chamisa, even though you are not in the same party with him at the moment. What if the opposite then happens? The incumbent wins this election. What do you think Zimbabweans will react to this announcement?
Anything can happen, I would say so, but I don't think it's going to be light this time that Zimbabweans are going to accept these results. Surely even people that are in ZANU-PF, some of them are going to vote for Nelson Chamisa, simply because now Emerson Mnangagwa is in his 80s, he's old. He's played his part, and I strongly believe that he should take a rest, enjoy the monies that he's made all over these years, and let the young man, Nelson Chamisa, take the road, because Nelson Chamisa is proved currently to be the best leader. To me, I would actually say he's the only leader that we have. That's why I advocated for other political parties and leaders, even the church leaders, and say, tell your congregates, tell your members to support Nelson Chamisa, because it's the only one that we have. We want Zimbabwe to be a great nation. People are suffering in Zimbabwe. If you go to all the rural areas, people are suffering, and we don't need that. We need now to have a new government, new leadership that's, is going to take Zimbabwe to another direction. So I would actually say that if the results come the other way around, it's not going to be easy. I don't think most Zimbabweans are going to take it lightly. The decisive factor is going to be the army. And we're saying the army must be independent, the police as well, the CIOs. The army should accept. The army is not for the political party. That's why it's called Zimbabwe National Army. It's for the whole country. We must put politics aside when we come to this independent organization or parastate settlers. We should actually say Zimbabwe first and put our interest in our country. What's wrong if Chamisa become the president of this country? If he doesn't perform well, surely there are measures that can be taken for him to step down and find the suitable leader who's going to take us afar.
All right. Then let's come to, we're looking at possible outcomes here. Let's come to the issue that if there is probably a stalemate, like what happened in 2008, there is no outright winner. Are you seeing any prospects of a government of national unity between ZANU-PF and Triple C? Do you think that this is something that they might have discussed, that, okay, if we don't win outrightly this election, we're going to go into a coalition with the opposition? What do you think?
And these elections, I am not seeing a 50-50 situation coming in. If the votes are going to be counted correctly, and if people are going to vote willingly through their hearts, Nelson Chamisa is going to win these elections. And I've got no doubt about it at all. And Nelson Chamisa has clearly stated that he doesn't want a government of national unity. As MDC, we've tested, the waters in our last election when we betted with ZANU-PF from 2009 to 2013. They were, pretending that we were working together at the same time. They were doing their things underground. And when it came to the elections, they came the outright winners. And we were chucked out in 2013. It was disaster for MDC. Our country could have gone the other way around, could have developed much better if we won those elections. So I don't see Nelson Chamisa getting into bed with ED, and ZANU-PF would opt for that because they know that they don't have the support that they think they have. Triple C has got the support right now. Everyone is rallying behind Nelson Chamisa because of his vision that he has currently. And we are all saying, let's have a change of government. Why not? These people are old. The incumbent leader President Emerson Mnangagwa is old. Let him rest and enjoy his monies with his family.
All right. Then come to the issue that the 2018 we saw 6 people getting gunned down after the frustration that came from the MDC then, and this was not a good picture for Zimbabwe. What do you think if that happens, the results are delayed, we have a repeat of 2008, and then we see people getting into the streets, and then the army gets released? What do you make of such a picture? Do you think this is something that we're going to see, whereby violence is going to erupt if the results are announced the other way? What do you think Zimbabweans should do if they are not happy with the results of this election?
Yeah, currently what I would like to say is that we are advocating as e-movement, and I'm leading that troop, and saying that we must have a national dialogue whereby all political leaders, all stakeholders, including the church, students, must sit down and decide, the way forward for our country. We are all Zimbabweans at the end of the day. So the leaders should come together and make decisions together. I admire what the current South African President Ramaphosa does when he's faced with a challenge. He calls all the opposition parties, they sit down and decide. Then comes to the issue of the army. The army must not must not be, partisan. The army must know that it's there to protect all the interests of Zimbabweans. It's there mandatory. They are there to protect every single citizen of Zimbabwe. They mustn't go out like what they did. That was outrageous. That was the disaster. And it said that up to now, no one was arrested or jailed for that incident. So I call upon the commander of the army, Valerio Spanda, to put his army in order. You know, you can say, yeah, people are going to be violent, people are going to erupt and cause noise. But we would like to say to the political party leaders, they've got the say to their members. Let them be calm, let them wait for the results. And if the opposite happens, we don't want to see bloodshed. We want to see peace. So the army, when they go out there, I don't think they need to shoot at people. It's a tough situation for Zimbabweans currently because we want to have the best results and people should accept. I would believe that, I would like to say to the army, believe the outcome of the results. If the opposition wins, accept it and protect them. Protect them so that there won't be any violence. That's all I can say currently.
In conclusion, what do you think the regional bodies will react to the results, whether they are favoring the incumbent or they are favoring the opposition? What do you think the regional body, if they are pressed upon to act like that, what happened in 2008, what do you think the regional body will react to such a call?
It's a sad scenario because SADC and AU have let Zimbabwe down in many occasions. There's this issue of the frontline states, whereby the SADC leaders or individual countries support the incumbent because of their previous war credentials. We are saying now, we are a family. If Zimbabwe is going to have a problem, it's going to outburst into the neighboring countries. So they must have a say and a play. Even the other national armies in SADC, they must come and assist in Zimbabwe and say, let there be peace. Let there be peace. If people vote for Nelson Chamisa to be their president, let it be. We are sick and tired of this nonsense of saying, no, we have to protect our friend. What is that? We're talking about democracy and we don't do the right thing. Africans have been suffering for a long time in these developing countries, especially in SADC, because of the poor leadership that we have. Poor leadership have been voted and elected into offices. That's why we have got poverty, we've got corruption, we've got a lot of all these problems in Africa, especially in our country, in Zimbabwe as well. A lot of people are suffering. It's only a lot of people who are enjoying life in Zimbabwe. If you go to the rural areas, 43 years after independence, you cry. Most of the times when I go to my rural areas, I'm on tears when I meet those old women suffering without hardly anything to eat. There are no developments. We're talking about water, roads, they're all shattered. I was just reading the story yesterday for a woman a pregnant woman was taken from Kai Hospital on his way to Bulawayo, and the ambulance was involved in an accident. You know, it's so sad that people are just dying, yet we've got leaders who are claiming to be doing the right thing. In Zimbabwe, we need a new government. Let Chamisa be the next president of Zimbabwe and take it from there, and let the incumbent Emmerson Mnangagwa accept defeat. We now want leaders who are going to say, I failed, I'm going to resign. We want leaders who are going to resign. Leaders who have got people at heart. Leaders who are going to unite all the people of Zimbabweans. We want leaders who are honest, with integrity. Leaders who are respectful to their own citizens. So it's high time that our current leadership listen to what the people want. The people have got the vote. The people have got the power. So let the people say whatever they want to say in this election today. Whoever they vote for, let it be respected. And the army should actually protect the citizens, not kill them.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sululu, for your time, and hopefully we're going to look at this issue at a later day and see how this will pan out during the course of this election. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. I wish the best for every Zimbabwean, wherever they are going to the polling station. Let them go and cast their vote secretly. They're allowed to cast their vote secretly, and let their vote be counted. It's very important that you leave your house, take your time. It's a holiday in Zimbabwe. It's an election day in Zimbabwe. Let that vote be respected. Zimbabweans are educated. Zimbabweans are hardworking. Let it be. Thank you so much for inviting me for this interview. Well done, Zimbabwe.